that. Come to think of it. Okay, right. So we're on the YouTube. This Hangout is on air, is live. Yes, it is. You don't know how live it is. Okay, excellent. Beautiful. So that's YouTube. And now I have to switch to this screen because I want YouTube to record what I'm doing. So very, very quickly, I'm going to go through this whole rigmarole again. I'm going to learn .sun, which I know you do every single day. 1 year, I put up a tiny little animated GIF every single day. It was funny, 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 so that people would come and look at it. And I don't really think it worked. So I'm not going to put a nice motto on SunLearn to inspire you for your day to come. I don't know what kind of motto I would put, but I was about to say that please check SunLearn for these stuffy stuffs. Now I want to switch this thing off, or do I? It doesn't matter. I'll keep it on. So YouTube will see only this, and they'll see that I'm highlighting these exercises which I put up. I have tons more, but to convert them from the format I have them into the format that the system can understand takes a very long time, and I have to make sure that they're correct because I don't want to get off exercises. And they haven't been correct. Sometimes there's been a mistake. So far I've put 2 mistakes in exercises, and that's bad. If you're struggling, I don't want you to sit at home crying because the computer tells you you're wrong. But the idea of these exercises is that they basically work exactly like the practical test will work. And they give you the chance to check if you can actually write these programs. If I go to simple programs, okay, so I've already tried it a couple of times, I guess. But let's try it again. Fill in the missing code below. Can you see it all? You must have eagle eyes. I'll do this. Fill in the missing code below that displays the message hello world on the screen or console. And we know how to do that. All we need to do is you write a piece of code like that. And I'd say check. And as always, it will tell me if I'm right or wrong. Better work now. Oh, it seems kind of wrong, but time is almost up, so I'll just go to next page. Next page, I think I'll just finish my attempt. Finish attempt. Okay. And I'm done now, so I'm going to say submit all and finish. Yes, I'm done with this quiz. And now I'm in a review mode where you can actually check what the original solution is. I don't want to say the correct solution because there's one way to do these things. Yours doesn't have to be exactly what's on the screen. It doesn't have to say, well, in this case it does. But sometimes there are different ways of doing things. You don't have to have exactly that, but it does show you a solution to the problem. Confused about the screen. And now I go home and I sleep a little bit. I've looked at the solutions, and then tomorrow perhaps I say to myself, gee, I think I really want to redo the quiz because I feel I've mastered that material now. And you can start from scratch and redo the quiz. I really suggest you do that. If you're really good at it, it'll take you a few minutes. Who can program? Almost no one. That is a lie. Maybe some of you could program to start with, and now I've actually diminished your knowledge. That's possible. But no, if you can program even just halfway, it should take you a few minutes per quiz. Okay. So that's it. What we're supposed to do today, which is arrays. And I'm not even going to open slides. All I will show you is zoom in a little bit, and I just want to show you Eclipse. The pyramid, which is what we did Friday, and I'm going to make a new project, a whole new project that I'm going to call arrays. So file, new, it's a Java project. Arrays in class is what I'm calling my project. You can call it what you want. Go. So this button will make me a new Java class, which I'm going to call arrays1. If you tick this box, if you tick that box, Eclipse will insert an auto main for you. Then you don't even have to waste your precious energy typing MIN control space, enter. So just clicking that box, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Which method stubs would you like to create? Why? I'd like to create a main, thank you. And if we do that and say finish, it starts off with the main inside. Okay. This is confusing me a little bit, so I'm going to just do that. So it won't bother you too much. Right. So what do I want to do with arrows? Well, I want you to know everything about arrows that you can know and all the ways I can ask you about it. But I'll take forever. So I'm not exactly sure what I want to do, but let's start with a few questions. You already know what arrays are because you've read the text. You know that this arrow. I mean, there are 400 of you in the class. If I don't computer, don't answer. Okay. Are you okay? Who's coffee? Get some water. There's some. Okay. No, that's disgusting. No. Would you like this? Okay, I just don't want people dying in class again. Right. I don't want to do that. I don't want to create 400 X variables to store your marks for the first prac, and then another 400 for the second prac, and all that's going to be too much. So what Java offers us is to say that, okay, you always make one box containing an int, and you give it some name, X, but I've got something else to offer you. I'll make you a deal. You can still have something called X, but it'll refer to a whole set of boxes, a whole line of boxes, which we call an array. It's called an array. I have to tell it what I'm going to store in each of the boxes once. So int X, but I want many boxes. So I write open bracket, close bracket, square bracket. And that tells Java, I don't want one single box, I want a whole list of them, a whole line of them. And so therefore, I am going to need to tell Java at some point how many boxes there are, because it's something it needs to know. And the usual way to do that is to say, to give it an initial value, to say new int 10. Which means there are exactly 10 boxes. 10 boxes. Amanda, 10 boxes. Okay. Let's put here. It's okay. Okay. Let's put here. Oh, wow. I'll put it here. Let's see how many and he's looking here. I'm going to take Ryan and put it here. Okay. Because I realized that you wanted to be on the phone. But never mind that. Okay. Now, look what you started. You started a trend now. Now everyone's talking. I want 10 boxes, Java makes 10 boxes. They're all called X. And to distinguish between the boxes, I have to tell which of the 10 boxes I'm talking about. So the very first box, Java is calling X0. Then the next one, X1. And so on until the last box, which is called X9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are the box names. I can treat them like variables. They can take a variable. I can put a variable inside X0. And just like before, I can write some kind of expression, whatever is in box X1, whatever is in box X9, add those together, put them in box 0. That's an array for you. I know for loops, which will allow me to do something repeatedly. So repeatedly, I can put something in each of the boxes. I can say for int I equals 0, so it'll start 0, 1, 2, while it's still less than 10. I'm going to say the ith box contains I. So that will execute that for loop. and I start at 0. So the very first time it executes the statement inside the for loop, it's x0 becomes 0. Next time, it's x1 becomes 1, x2 becomes 2, x3 becomes 3. And so the boxes now contain their own number, so to speak. Just had a brilliant idea for a question in the test. Oh, it's so good, I have to share it with you guys. But you must promise not to tell the other class, and also to forget when you get to the test. Okay. I'm now going to hypnotize all of you, which is pretty easy. I've done this many times before. I know for a fact that even though you tell students exactly what questions are in an exam, there'll still be some people who fail the exam. Even if you tell them what the answers in the exam are, there will still be students who fail the exam. So you cannot communicate enough information to students. It's not you, it's me, but that's just the way it is. But think about this, they all contain their own numbers. So I can say something like, X, which box am I referring to? I'm referring to box XI. Oh, wow. Mind blown. So I'm putting box XI, type number, but I just put 0 in there, I. So XI is equal to I. So the second line is really saying XI becomes 9 minus I. Amanda, that's amazing. That is such a good question. It tests your ability to stay calm under pressure. You're in space, a meteorite has just struck a spaceship, a few of your crew members have been sucked out, you're clinging on, somebody asks you, what does the following piece of code do? Can you think in those circumstances? Yes, brilliant. This is in a test for sure. Something like this. Maybe something like this. Yes. Good. Good. Okay, good. Let's test this set. Fine, good. Right. So I've got this array. It's really like just no variables, but I've got special names, xi. And then xi can be xi plus 1, it can be x5, all kinds of stuff. Yes?
Are you sure that's going to give you an array out of bounds?
I'm pretty sure it will, but let's not talk about that now. He said tomato, I said tomato. Let's just call that whole thing off. I'll fix it for the test. What is the stupid thing with arrays now? Why do we need them? They're immensely useful. We really do write programs. I have written many programs. I have tons of programs that add students marks from tests that calculate the average for the whole class. Let's calculate the average for this class. You all have marks. Now, this is going to be an issue if I don't tell Java what the marks are. So I'm just going to pretend that magically marks are inserted into marks. No, it's no funny business with R. Did you want to say something? Oh, okay, good, excellent, right. So marks are inserted into marks. The marks array, 10 elements. Now let's make it whole class size. How big is the class? N equals 402. So N, 402 marks, good. This will be N. And I want to calculate the average, or the mean, more accurately. How do you calculate the mean, Amanda? You add up all the numbers and you divide by the number, don't you? So I'm going to say, I've got to add them somewhere. Where am I going to put the sum? Well, I'll probably need another variable. Make a box called sum, starts off at 0. Sum equals sum plus mark I, the ith mark. So sum starts at 0. I've got this for loop, it starts at 0 and goes to n. And all it does is takes the ith mark, adds it to sum. Take the ith mark, add it to sum. Take the ith mark, add it to sum. It's going through all the marks, start to finish, and adding them all to sum. And at the end, sum will contain all the marks. And I can do something like this. System.out print line. The mean is sum divided by n. Now, before you have a little heart attack, I know there are big, big problems with this program. So I want to really test it. And I could test it as is, but it won't work. That magic part that's still in the comment needs to be fleshed out. So I could write some kind of nonsense there, but instead, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to shrink the class down to 4 students. And here where it says marks are inserted into marks, I'm going to do something like this. Mark 0 is a 50. Who didn't study hard enough. 75. 85. Well done, Amanda. Okay, now I've got to calculate the average. So I want to do something add up to something nice tonight. Okay, and let's say the last student. Actually, I want. Let's bring him down to 6. I made a big mistake in marking his exam script. I added 10 marks I shouldn't have. He's actually got 6, just so the average can work out. That's why I'm being mean to him. Okay, right. So this should work. Marks are being inserted into marks. Thank you very much. Don't need that. Let's see what Java says. Save it. Save. Run it. Before we run it, what use will it? I mean, we'll see if it crashes or not. But let's say it prints 65.7. How do you know that's right? Well, we don't really, so we need to actually pre-calculate the result. 75 plus 85. Well, I can take the 5 from 85 to the 75. That makes 80 plus 80. It's 160. Plus 50 is 210. Plus the 6 is 216. And if I divide that by 4, I get 4 goes into 21 5 times. Carry the 1. 4 goes into 16 4 times. So I'm expecting 54. If I don't get that, I've made a big mistake. Run the program. Brilliant, it works. The mean is 54. I don't know if you can even see that, but that's what it says, and it's true. Right. Okay. Nevertheless, this program contains a mistake, and that is that if Dumbo had actually scored 8, which means brings the total to 218, divide 4 into that, and I should get 54.5. That's the average. If I run that, it still prints 54, not 54.5. At the university, that 0.5 is important. You want that. So I made some mistakes. The mistake is obviously that at the end of dividing 2 integers, you say, I have to say, whoa! I want to close. Let's not force it. It's wrong. It's dividing 2 integers and getting an integer result, and that's not what we want. We want a real result, a double result. So I have to fix something, and I can fix many things, but one way of fixing it is to say multiply sum. This thing has gone crazy. Now it just wants to help me write the program. Just because I click that main button, it thinks it knows what I want to do. Okay, right. So I'm multiplying sum by 1.0, which is a double. Java knows that when I multiply integer by a double, the result will be a double. And dividing by an integer gives me a double result. So that is enough for the program to print 54.5, which is exactly what I want. I'm confident that my program is correct. Easy peasy thing to do with arrays. We need to do things that are much more complicated. But before we do, I just want to show you the secret trick. It's not secret, it's in the book. So how secret can it be? But usually when we want to preload an array with values like these, we can usually not, we don't have to say new int 4. We don't have to tell Java, I want an array with 4 slots, put this value in the first, that value in the second, that value in the third. we can kind of use a shortcut which says open brace 50, 75, 85, 8. Much neater. I can use the shortcut to preload my array if I have all the values. And I can add a value if I want, but then I'll have to change the n to 5. And if I add another value, I'll have to change the n to 6. I don't want to keep changing the n. It would be great if Java could automatically tell me how many values there are in the array. And in fact, it can. It's a special notation we can use just with arrays, and we can say marks.length. So I first declare the array, I give it 6 explicit numbers, but maybe 100, I can always tell how many numbers there are on the screen. So instead of trying to count them by hand and putting that value in, I make the array, and then I say n is simply an integer box, and the value it contains, starts off with, is the length of that array. So in this case, it will be 6. And if I run the code, everything will still work. And the new average is 64.5. So what kind of things do I want to do? Well, there are tons of stuff I want to do with arrays. Arrays are immensely useful for storing things that cannot fit in a single variable, like a vector. Some of you have started studying physics, and you know that there are these things called vectors. Have you done vectors yet? Yes, you can't lie. It's like instinctive. Some people just tell the truth. Okay. So vectors are like integers, or real numbers, but they have 2 components. Well, you've seen them at school as well, coordinate systems. If I have coordinates, they have 2 values, they're not just the 1. So I could have 2 points here. I'm going to save this. I must remember to put all these files somewhere on the internet so we can look at them later. So you can look at them. Okay? Source, well, I don't, okay. Click there, new package, a new file, arrays 2. What I want. Okay. I'll do the main myself, thank you. Yeah. So I can have, let's make it a double array called point1. And it has some coordinates, 2.3, 6.7. And I've got another point, point 2, which is so now I have my 2 points. They're both arrays. They both contain doubles. One is called point 1, one is called point 2. And I've already preloaded them with the values 2.3, 6.7, and 5.6 minus 1.0. So they're both sitting there. Now I want to add these 2 coordinates together, these 2 vectors, to get the resulting vector, the sum vector. So I'm going to make a third array, point sum. At the moment, it's still complaining with those little yellow flashlight bulbs in the left-hand side and the dotted lines in the editor, because I'm not using point 1 and point 2 and point sum in my program. They never appear again, so I don't really need them. But I'm still writing my program, and these warnings will go away. When I write, I'm going to start with coordinate 0, and while it's still smaller than 2, well, I is still smaller than 2, I will just be 0 and 1. I'm going to add these corresponding coordinates together, components together. So the point sum, its ith component will be the ith component of point 1 plus the ith component of point 2. So point sum 0 will be point sum point 1, 0, point 2. Now that I think about it, calling them point 1 and 2 as a mistake. Let's rename X and Q. That's what I want to call them. So point sum 0 is point x 0 and point q 0. Adding the two first components, going to point sum. And point sum 1, the second component of point sum, will be point sum point x1 plus point q1. Adding the second component and storing them in point sum. Now, Eclipse is complaining about something. It says the local variable point sum may not have been initialized. Now that is very true. I told Java I wanted an array of point sum that can store doubles. But Java knows, okay, point sum is going to be an array. We're just going to talk about point sum 0, point sum 1, point sum 2, and so on. But I haven't told Java how big point sum must be. So how much space must it reserve for point sum? It doesn't know. I haven't told it. So I can't just write this. I must write new double 2, meaning I want a new double array with 2 slots. Or if I really wanted to, and I don't, but if I had to, I guess I could write this. Nonsense values that I'm going to fill out with the actual sum later on. But I don't really like doing that because it somehow conveys the meaning that point sum must start out as 0, 0. And that's not true. What is point sum if I write this? What is inside those two boxes? No, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. Maybe. In Java, there is a convention that certain types, like doubles, ints, certain types, not all types, but certain types get some initial value if you don't give one. So after this, point sum may contain 0.0 or maybe not. I can't rely on that fact. If I program like that, I'm going to run into problem when I get to a language that doesn't have a rule for what to put in a variable that I haven't given a value. The same is true of int. If I say I want the box x that will store an int, what is inside the box before I put anything inside? I'd like to say 0, but I'd more like to say nonsense. I don't know, I don't want to find out. It will be a mistake to use that value inside box x because I haven't put anything inside. I must somehow assume that it's nonsense. So I'm never ever going to do this and then use x. And in the same way, this is not as safe as the other way, putting 0, 0 inside point sum, but it also does make a lot of sense. Initially, point sum is an array that can store 2 doubles, but there's nonsense inside. And my for loop is going to actually put some sensible values inside. There are many reasons for this, that this is much safer than this. And one of the reasons is that if my for loop had a mistake, if I somehow forgot to write the for loop at all, in the rest of my program, I can now use point sum because it contains 0, 0 by mistake. So I've got a for loop. But I can use it, Java won't complain. If, on the other hand, I write my initializer like that, then point sum will contain nonsense. And when I work and if I forget to initialize point sum in the for loop, then I can pick up that change more easily because I can see that it doesn't work out. There's nonsense inside. All this is not technically true for Java. Sometimes it puts stuff, it doesn't always initialize. But it's a good way to program. The philosophy is sound. Because then when you get to a different language which does not auto-initialize some value, point sum, it's safer. Okay, what else we want to do? We have 3 minutes. What else can we do? Let's look at the stupid slides. I don't want stupid slides. because the slides are just showing what's in the book, and you've read the book and all that stuff. But maybe there's something fun on the slides. Ooh, no, that doesn't look right. Let's do that. Oh, I'm zoomed in. Oh, okay, so my mistake. Okay, stacked. Yes. Oh, cards. The slides have cards. Card games. We can start writing card games. Yeah, we need arrays. Yeah, we can put stuff in them. We know all that. Yes, that's another way of declaring it. Yes, we can preload those arrays with those values. We know. Create an array with random values. Oh, I can put a lot of random values in this. Yes.
Is there a maximum size to the array?
Yeah. Yes. Well, arrays need to be indexed by an integer variable. So the index type of an array must be long, and longs have a maximum value.
Let's say you make an array of an arbitrary object of variable length. And
all arrays are indexed by longs. All arrays.
Okay, so
let's
but then you can still make an arbitrary length because the actual number of bits anything inside that. Objects is something that's arbitrary length.
Okay, let's make a distinction now. That's actually a very important point. So I asked Java to make an array of a certain size. By that size, I mean the number of blocks or slots. That is always called 0, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, indexed by long. So there's some kind of maximum number of slots. Of course, each little box has a size. I need a much bigger box, really, for doubles than I need for ints or for longs. So when I say make me an array of longs, it'll take up a certain space. If I say make me an array of charge, it'll take up much less space. So there's also a limit on how much space Java can use. And definitely, I will exhaust the memory long before I get to exhaust the index capabilities of longs. So there is a maximum size, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's almost basically always the memory that Java works with. How much memory does Java use? You can tell it to use less or more memory, but the maximum memory is also limited by your computer. I've got -5 minutes. No, I don't. I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to use my 5 minutes. I'm going to stand up for my rights for once. I shall not be suppressed. Let's quickly go through all these little tricks that we can do with arrays. Create an array with random values. Fantastic, great stuff. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I know I'm going to use it today. I'm going to call an array with math random, so the whole array will just be random values. Right, first, the array values 1 per line. Oh, sure, I can do that. It's a list of values. I'd love to do that. I'm going to do it this afternoon. Okay? I'm going to treat myself once. Okay? Find the maximum. Oh, this is such important stuff. We have to do it on Wednesday because you have to be able to do this. There's not enough time now. So let's carry on Wednesday. I'm going to stop the YouTube.